what's it called when you do naked yoga so your asshole gets a tan?
Oh, anal bleaching?
It's perineum tanning, I think it is.
Oh, it's like, yeah, we've come full circle. It went from the anal bleaching.
Yep.
To the anal tanning.
Perineum sunning, excuse me, is the fad.
I feel like that's a common place to get like skin cancer.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want my asshole burned.
But why not?
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Instagram and Bluesky at Namely90s. You can also find us on YouTube every Monday at youtube.com/@namely90s. And if you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/namely90s, also with a 90s, and get signed up for one of our support levels. Hello.
Hello.
Again.
What a Super Bowl that was.
Indeed. That team with the red color really pulled it out this year.
Yeah. Can you believe it that Taylor Swift kissed Travis Kelce at the end there?
Wow. I still can't get over the fact that people are like, all they're doing is showing Taylor Swift. It's a 4-hour game. She's on screen for 24 seconds.
Yeah. And can you believe she turned to the camera and said, vote for Joe Byron?
I did love that thing where it was like Fox ran a story about all the carbon emissions that Taylor Swift's plane was belching out. Uh-huh. And someone's like, they did it. They finally got Fox News to care about carbon emissions. That was good. They've got Toby Keith's death to distract them right now, though.
Oh, yeah. I went to karaoke on Tuesday night. Everyone was just singing Toby Keith songs.
You see, we'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way.
That was one of the first ones.
Post 9/11 song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real moving.
That was awkward. And then there was, so the host is from, nope. Anyway, moving on. Well, I can't remember where he's from. I know he's not Indian because he made a stand-up bit about going into the 7-Eleven and was shocked to find an Indian man behind the counter. And I was like, I don't think you can do even if you're confused, even if he confused you for being also of his ethnicity. I don't think you could do that joke. Yeah,
and I wouldn't do a Hank Azaria voice at that time either. That would be a bad look.
Yep. Anyway, it wasn't until like halfway through the night when the list was closed for signups that someone was like, "Oh yeah, there's the Jimmy Buffett song." I'm like, the which one? And like the Pour Me Something Strong or It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I don't know.
I mean, that's Alan Jackson featuring Jimmy Buffett.
So that wasn't even Toby Keith.
No.
Good. That would have been hilarious.
Alan Jackson, good music right there.
Yeah.
Some of Toby Keith's older stuff I still liked, but he got too like overly patriotic and then annoying after that. Like that godforsaken Red Solo Cup song. Have you heard it?
Someone sang it. Yes.
It's horrific.
There was also was he the one that married Gwen Stefani?
No, that was Blake Shelton.
Wow, they're all the same person in my head.
Blake Shelton is so boring, and his music's not that good.
Okay. Again, they're all the same person in my head.
No, hey, not Hootie. Although he was brought up on drug charges last year because he had pot and psilocybin, but because it's Tennessee, he's now on the sex offender registry for having drugs or something. Hootie, no.
Hootie, no. I forgot to start.
Those things aren't that bad.
Yeah. Oh, are you microdosing while you're going?
I'm surprised they didn't just shoot him on the spot. It was after dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a black man in Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised if those weren't his.
He was just holding them for a friend.
Speaking of black men being ousted from their jobs, no.
Okay.
Trevor Noah left his job, but
yeah, true. He did depart the show.
And then there was a year. This last year, it was just, hey, let's have a random guest host on while we're trying to figure out. Never works. This, of course, is a Daily Show. Jon Stewart's coming back tonight on the day this is releasing. He's doing the Mondays during the election cycle. But what I heard recently is that, do you remember Hassan Minhaj?
No.
Oh,
Minja?
He was, yeah, I did misspell that, didn't I? He was one of Trevor Noah's good correspondents in the beginning, and apparently he was on the short list, or it was, apparently he was like, just the papers were almost signed, according to the Hollywood Reporter, that he was going to be the next host, and then the New Yorker ran an article on him last October about. And you just recently saw a comedian.
Is he really just Sasquatch? Is that what it is? Like,
no. What he did, which all comedians do, is he embellished in his comedy stories.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Yes,
but apparently, since the articles are written by a white, let's just allow me to be racist for a moment, a white woman, she thought it was crucial that all of his comedy stories be 100% factual, especially when concerning racism towards him.
You know what the universal truth is about comedians? If they say this is a true story, it's not a true story.
Yeah.
You're an idiot, ma'am.
So I remember last October, because I think he went dark for like 2 weeks and then came back with a rebuttal on his YouTube page that, like him going over every little bit of the article and being like,
ooh, but that's not a great look either.
Well, he was trying to show,
I'd be like, so there I was riding my unicorn and I came across this article.
Yeah.
You know, like really lean into it.
Basically it was calling him out for like, it was framing him as like a liar. And so he was like, no, I'm not a liar. I'm just, as comedians do. Yeah.
She's saying like, oh, you could be straining race relations. How about white people being openly racist toward black people? Like maybe that's inflaming it, not someone embellishing a story a little bit about a thing that, by the way, like the story he's telling, although maybe embellished, probably represents a real story that actually happened to somebody.
Mm-hmm. Or him, just not not just dramatic for the story purposes. Like,
right.
You know, it's. So
he's not the host.
Nope, unfortunately, no. He would have been. I think he would have been a great.
I mean, you never know. Ken Jennings almost got canceled because he said like it's a shame when an attractive woman is in a wheelchair, like 10 years ago on Twitter.
And now Mayim's out as host.
She got stuck in the elevator.
So, I mean, she has 2 PhDs, I think, but also doesn't believe in vaccines or something.
Yeah, true. She did a lot of acid, probably.
I don't know. It was. I think it was something more to do with not breastfeeding your kid. It was something random. But
the whole like breastfeeding, not breastfeeding contingent needs to give it a rest. Like, here's an idea. Do what works best for you.
Yes.
Like, do what works best, and neither thing is going to screw them up.
Yes. Exactly.
We did both.
As I assume a lot of people do.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no need to like shame people or make people think it's going to be worse. It's like, yeah, maybe nominally or marginally worse or better for one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, can't people just do what they want?
No.
Like, as long as you're not putting rock in the baby's bottle or something, I think you're probably better off.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, Hassan Minhaj is out. Mayim Bialik's out. Roy Wood Jr. has taken his hat out of the ring because he didn't like being stuck in limbo this last year.
How about they were doing name association Kurtwood Smith? He'd just be like, dumbass.
Welcome back to the Daily Show. Here's what you need to know. I mean, I feel like it's a step back going from white host to Jewish host to black host, half black host back to Jewish host.
I still cannot get over
host.
the fact, by the way, that Trevor Noah had an accent. I learned this 1 year ago. 1 year. Did not know he had an accent.
Did you not watch the Daily Show in the last 8 years?
No.
Okay.
I just found this out, and I would always see clips of it, but I would just read the captions on Facebook.
That's funny.
Because I'm an old person.
Yeah.
And nope, no idea he had an accent. And I heard him talk. I was like, oh, that's a funny voice. And then he just kept talking in that voice.
I mean, for me, I feel like I haven't watched the Daily Show like on television or on any form of television since 2016. But, they upload like the entire show to YouTube these days. So it's like, why bother?
And
why
how often does this show air?
4 days a week, but it hasn't been back since the end of last year.
Oh, it's supposed to be a bad joke because the name.
Funny. Yes. Wow. I am sorry. I was already in it. I was already in our first discussion topic for today, The Daily Show. Actually, this is an episode on The Daily Show. So if you haven't figured that one out yet, the Tim Daly Show, the John Daly Show,
the Carson Daly Show,
the Carson, Did they ever replace his like late night block with anything? I don't know. He had a show.
He's so spectacularly unlikable. I don't know what that is. He hosted another show. He hosted like a game show too. No, a reality show. What did he host?
Well, I mean, he's originally popular for hosting TRL.
No, but he also did a reality show.
Love Island, MILF Manor. Love Island UK. Milfier Manor.
I don't remember. He was on some show.
Manor. Dilf Manor.
Okay.
Bilf Manor.
I'm just going to go to the IMDb and figure this out. You keep talking.
Well, okay. So The Daily Show, for those of you that don't know, is coming back today. And it's an American late night talk show and satirical news television program. Airs Monday through Thursday on Comedy Central, which now...
The Voice.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right.
Wasn't he replaced by Ryan Seacrest?
Not on The Voice.
Oh.
That's The Voice.
Is he still on The Voice?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Blake Shelton was.
Gwen Stefani was. I think Allison Hayslip was like a co-host for the first season.
He's still the host.
Huh. It's a half-hour show. It premiered in July of 1996. It was first hosted by Craig Kilborn until 1998 December, and then Jon Stewart took over as the host from January 1999 until August 2015. So yeah, he kind of narrowed the focus of the show into a more political satire and news satire, which was in contrast to Kilborn's pop culture focus. And
where did Craig Kilborn ever go? Oh, right. The Craig Kilborn Show.
I thought he came from the Craig Kilborn Show.
Oh, do I have it backwards?
Maybe I'm confusing that with Jon Stewart, who had the Jon Stewart Show and then The Daily Show. He came from SportsCenter. That's right.
Yeah. Craig Kilborn.
It
was a late show.
With Craig Kilborn.
Started in 1999.
Which he got replaced by what's his face? The British guy?
James Corden.
No,
that was way too late.
Yeah, it was the guy that
Ferguson.
Yes, Craig
Scottish.
Ferguson. Yes, Scottish. My bad.
Oh, he was in the Drew Carey show.
Drew Carey show. Yeah, as Mr. Filch, the owner of the department store or the boss. Anyway, Stewart was succeeded by Trevor Noah, as we were just saying, in 2015, and then he made, by the end he made it his own show, and I'm kind of concerned about like it going back to Jon Stewart right now, because Jon Stewart, great host, really passionate about the things he's passionate about, and like I'm happy to have him back for this cluster fluff of election cycle, but it's, you know, the show evolved. The show has evolved beyond him, and it did a good job of what Trevor Noah wanted the folks of the show to be.
I would say that's a rough 8 years. 2016, COVID, the next election, the riot, like the insurrection. Boy, those are hard miles. Tell you what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know, Jon Stewart had his own show on Apple TV until it got canceled recently too. Which I heard was actually pretty good. Yeah. I saw some clips. But yeah.
I like the one where he shouted at that guy about gun laws.
Yes. That was, and the guy just kept going, well, the First Amendment says, and then he's like, no, what do you think? Well, the Second Amendment says, yeah, I mixed up my amendments just there. But yeah,
I'm just a bill. Okay.
Like I recently went back and watched Jon Stewart's appearance on Crossfire. It was him. Crossfire was Tucker Carlson and I don't remember who the Democratic guy was on
Tucker Carlson just makes you dumber when you walk in the room, you know?
Did you see how terribly he failed at the Putin interview? Have you seen these memes yet?
A little bit.
From what I gathered from just going over some of the memes, Tucker Carlson went to Moscow, went to Putin's mansion or the Kremlin or something to interview Putin, and basically like tried to get hard-hitting answers out of Vladimir Putin, and all he got was like the history of the world from the Russian perspective before like getting anywhere close to an answer. And then like to his face, like Putin would just be like, no, you're an idiot.
If you liked the Kremlin, you'd love the Kremlins too. Don't feed Vladimir after midnight. Otherwise he might nuke you by mistake.
There's also speculation from one of the Gremlin stars that there might be a Gremlins 3, since they did a two seasons of an animated series on HBO Max.
Well, listen, if the Leprechaun thing is like 9 sequels, can't we have another Gremlins?
No, because Gremlins is higher quality. You only saw the second one.
Yeah.
Whereas
that part where they electrocute a bunch of living beings is my favorite.
But evil, demonic being okay. Maybe we do need Jon Stewart back at the Daily Show.
More effective. They'd probably be more effective than Congress. Round them up, send them to the Capitol.
Yeah. God, what? Yeah. Is this the political episode? Can we just?
Yeah.
We just be like, good God, what is wrong with our politics that they tried to impeach one of the cabinet members of the White House?
Yeah, Homeland Security guy.
Yeah. And the only reason they tried to bring it through on this day is because they knew one of their Democratic colleagues had their appendix burst. So they figured he wouldn't be at the frickin' vote. And
before you know it, they're just going to be like capping people, just offing them so they can't vote. That's what we're getting close to.
Like,
because the Second Amendment says you can indiscriminately shoot other people. That is what it says. If you read it, if you really actually read it, that's what it says.
Just fucking like Donald Trump's whole thing in 2016 was, I'm going to drain the swamp. And what he's done is just created a marsh of assholes that worship him.
We're all neck deep. I'm like, what swamp?
Yes.
What plug?
A swamp you've created. Like, and then both like we have our candidates are both old senile men that are out of touch with reality, and I just
Careful, you sound like sort of a Republican apologist when you're like, they're both bad because they're both old, so therefore I feel like I can still vote for Donald and have a clear conscience. That's what like more moderate conservatives do. They say they're both terrible.
Yeah, no, that was my justification for voting for Joe Biden. It's just I can't.
The thing is, it's all hopeless and they can't do anything anyway. So really, at the end of the day, like as distasteful as Donald Trump is, I don't see how like is so much going to change. Like our system's so screwed up that no one can do anything.
Oh, I don't know with his what is it, Trump versus Colorado or whatever, that's
oh yeah,
going to go through the Supreme Court and have them just be like, oh yeah, you can't.
They'll let him be on the ballot. It's his court at this point.
The argument is insane.
By the way, my brain cannot separate. Like every time someone says Supreme Court, I imagine a court with sour cream on it. I can't not because of Taco Bell. I'm serious. The word supreme immediately just means that sour cream has been added. And I am a fatty.
I mean, and does that also add the lettuce and the tomato?
Lettuce is on there. Tomato might not be.
Tomato might be extra. Tomato might make it also supreme. But we are screwed, man. Screwed.
Yeah.
What if he wins?
He very well could. What else?
The Daily Show, Craig Kilborn's era sounded terrible.
Yeah, I don't think Craig Kilborn was like funny or likable.
Yeah. They had like weird segments of well, my brain is
I never watched the show with regularity, but I remember it being funny when I did watch it when Jon Stewart was hosting.
Yeah, I remember. I think the first time I really watched it with regularity was the 2004 election, or I guess that would be 2000. Yeah,
I probably watched more of the Colbert Report.
Or did you think Colbert was
the Colbert Report?
Yes. Yes, Colbert Report was good. I mean, I watched the Daily Show regularly. I think I owned all of the Colbert Report books, which was interesting. It was, wow. Basically, it was an outline for what Donald Trump did.
But it was a joke.
Yes, but it was a joke. Because the Colbert Report had a novel. Because the Daily Show like released like a textbook on America. But okay, Daily Show had America the book. Stephen Colbert had I Am America and So Can You, followed by America Again, Re-Becoming the Greatness We Never Weren't. That's basically Donald Trump's slogan.
Classic.
Yeah. And they were funny. I mean, it's satirical, but and that's another reason why I feel like we can't go back. We can't go back to Jon Stewart's Daily Show from like run, because that was before we just accepted Donald.
It changed everything.
Yeah. 2016 election changed everything. Or the Daily Show.
Also, why does 2016 seem so close to 2020? It feels like no time elapsed between them. Yeah.
Some would say it was someone's fault for the pandemic.
Yeah. China.
China. But yeah, just, oh my God. You know, the 2000, I think it was a 2004 election, Democalypse Now, where they sent like what I remember really in my head is they sent Rob Corddry to the Republican National Convention in Boston, and which is his hometown. So he's just like, he covers the convention for like a little bit and then goes on a bender out in the Boston streets, and then he's out in front of his ex-girlfriend's house yelling, "Shelley!"
Remember when Rob Corddry was on Top Gear?
No.
US.
Oh, yes.
US version.
Top Gear US 1.
Yeah, so unfortunately, technically they didn't. They did hit the hanging Chad election too.
Mm-hmm. The
one allowed W to get in the office, and then allowed Toby Keith to write the song "We'll Put a Boot in Your Ass," the American way.
Well, I mean, he took over. So I've listened to the audiobook on the history of the Daily Show, or at least Jon Stewart's era. And so like he took over, he cleaned house. I think he kept maybe 1 or 2 correspondents, no writers. Like he took over and he shaped the show the way he wanted it to be shaped, and perfected it over the course of 2 decades.
He made He made the Daily Show great again. I think the NyQuil might be kicking in.
I would say great for the first time.
Yeah, true. And now let's go to Brandon for the Namely 90s Minute.
Welcome back to Namely 90s Minute. Every week you look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helps stoke the algorithm. This week, because Sony is making another mistake thinking a Spider-Man cinematic universe works without using Spider-Man, in the new film Madam Web, we're looking back at one of the best Spider-Man the Animated Series episodes to feature her in, called Turning Point. Sins of the Fathers Chapter 14 Turning Point is the Season 3 finale of Spider-Man the Animated Series, which stars the voice of Prince Eric from The Little Mermaid, Dusty from G.I. Joe, Stan Lee's wife, Bud from Jag, Courtney from As Told by Ginger, Tila from the original He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and Nurse Chapel from Star Trek the original series. The story begins with Peter Parker telling Madam Web to lose his number, saying he doesn't want to be her errand boy anymore because he has everything he's ever wanted in life, which mostly boils down to he's happy because he's dating Mary Jane Watson and she loves him. Madam Web is like, yeah, okay, but the two-headed dragon is going to show up and ruin your life, and then I won't help you. Meanwhile, at Oscorp, Norman Osborn has gone insane and is listening to the Green Goblin in his head, and makes some sort of portal device that he can strap to his chest. Norman convinces the Goblin that Spider-Man is his biggest risk at the moment since Spidey knows the Goblin's identity, so the Green Goblin goes around terrorizing the city until Spider-Man shows up, and then the Goblin uses his portal device to sneak up on Spidey and make Peter think his Peter Tingle is on the fritz. Spidey dives into an alley and takes off his mask, and the Green Goblin spies on him to see he is good old P.D. Parker, whom Goblin recognizes as his son's best friend and determines Peter must have become Harry's friend to hurt Norman. Later, Peter meets up with Mary Jane and Liz at the coffee shop prior to going to Harry's birthday party that evening, but he's worried that Harry is still butthurt and MJ dumped him for pee-pee. At the party, Peter and MJ thank Harry for inviting them given what has happened, and Harry has a hissy fit, storms off, and says his dad forced him to. Norman keeps making veiled remarks that he knows Pete Parks is Spider-Man, which Peter eventually catches on to. Peter creates a distraction by setting a fire to the mansion before Norman can reveal that Peter is Spider-Man. And then the two duke it out all the way to the George Washington Bridge before Goblin uses the science of portals to go terrorize Peter's home. Spider-Man checks on Aunt May after Goblin's threat, but quickly realizes he should have gone to MJ's because the Goblin portals in and out super quick to kidnap Mary Jane. Back at the George Washington Bridge, Goblin and Spider-Man fight each other while Mary Jane wanders around aimlessly and then almost Gwen Stacy's herself before getting caught in one of Goblin's portals. Spider-Man doesn't see it happen, so he thinks she just drowned in the river. Enraged, Peter kicks the Goblin into a faulty portal but has regrets, so attempts to save him before Goblin does the classic Spider-Man 1 movie thing and tries to ram Spidey with the Goblin glider, but ends up screwing himself. The episode ends with Peter pleading with Madam Web to save Mary Jane and Norman Osborn, but then he has his own hissy fit when she denies him since he wanted to be on his own earlier. Peter is left to reflect on the shambles of his perfect life, while Mary Jane yells falling through a portal never to be seen again. And that's the Season 3 finale of Spider-Man the Animated Series, Turning Point, in a Namely 90s Minute. More or less.
And now, back to the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second half of the show. We're going to be doing a tier list that I painstakingly put together called the Daily Show Correspondence Tier List. And it's a ranking of the Daily Show, of every Daily Show correspondent, aka the world's fakest news team, aka the best fucking news team ever, as well as previous host and some contributors that I thought were memorable.
Nice.
And so you can find this, a link to this in the description for the episode.
Yeah, send us your rankings.
Yeah. I'm now realizing I should have put the names on all of them to make it easier. But if you don't know who someone is, go to the Wikipedia list of Daily Show correspondents and look by year, because I have it organized. I have first 3 are hosts, and then it's every correspondent by the date that they joined. And then when you get to Lewis Black, it's contributors. And I guess you'll just have to guess them if you don't know who they are. Yeah. So we're starting with Craig Kilborn. And if you don't know how a tier list works, we're having S for the top thing, followed by A, B, C, D, and then I added who, because last time sometimes we were like, I've never seen this or don't know who this person is.
Thoughts on Craig? He was the host.
He was a host.
I'm feeling B.
B tier? Because he was a host?
Yeah, like he existed. He's famous-ish.
Yeah, that's fair.
He didn't do like a bad job with it.
Yeah.
He just wasn't the reason it was successful. So I would say B or C, maybe. It's up to you if you want
to. I like that. B makes sense. I mean, maybe C. It depends. Let's keep fleshing out this list and then be like, Jon Stewart. What's obviously S tier?
He's S. There's just no question about it.
Yeah. Trevor Noah. I
mean, for South African? No, just kidding.
Possibly. I would say he's
hard
to go ahead.
It's hard to follow Jon Stewart.
Yes. But I think by the end of his run, because he brought us through COVID, where he did the daily home quarantine show or whatever it was, where instead of like he broadcasted from his apartment in New York in a hoodie, and like I think that was the point where the show really became his own. Like
I'll let you have your ranking.
He's at the very least A tier.
Yeah. I feel like the hosts can't be on the same tier. Like it doesn't work.
You're saying the Jon Stewart era is the definitive era of the Daily Show.
Yes.
Okay, I'll accept that. And as host rankings go, this is correct. Although I'm gonna just again say I think Trevor Noah did a great job, and it's good. It's
yeah,
good.
but like the Daily Show doesn't exist if Jon Stewart never takes it over.
True. So our first correspondent is Jeff Ross. Do you know Jeff Ross, comedian Jeff Ross?
Yeah, he's a comedian.
Host of
I don't know his
Central's
work on
Roasts.
this show.
Yeah, I don't either.
Is he funny?
He still had hair.
Lightly funny.
Yeah, like if D's are bottom tier, I guess C. This is Brian Unger, who also is a comedian that exists.
He's a who for me.
Yeah, I don't. I think he's the lawyer in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
It's a who.
Yeah, that's fair. This is Liz Winstead, who is also one of the original co-creators of The Daily Show. I've never seen her.
Who? Yeah, I'm bordering on.
A. Whitney Brown, who is one of the original correspondents, and he even had a 1998 special called Weirder Than Whitney. He was a cast member on SNL.
I'm about to say who again. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, dude. No one knows who you are.
David Wayne, who was a correspondent for less than a month, July 23rd, 1996 to August 6th, 1996.
It's a who's who of who's.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go who again, but
it'll get better.
He was in Role Models. He was in Wet Hot American Summer. Like you would recognize him as like, oh, it's that guy from something in the back.
He's also in the D list, is where he is. Not the D list of this ranking.
No,
the celebrity D list.
He's the voice of Courtney Wheeler and Grover Fishoder on.
Move on.
Bob's Burgers. Oops. Where did they go? Next up is Beth Littlefoot.
Nope.
Sorry, Little Ford. She was the only original correspondent to stay after Jon Stewart took over.
No earthly idea who she is.
She's the one that I always confused with Steve Carell's wife. Yeah.
All right.
She's appeared in the shows I'm in the Band and Dog with a Blog.
All right. Nope. Who?
I mean, I feel like I've seen episodes with her in it, but yeah. Next up would be Stephen Colbert, known for his segments Even Stevens, This Week in God, and The Jobbing of America. He's hosted The Daily Show 6 times, and he was frequently tossed to at the Colbert Report. Stephen Colbert.
I mean, it's an S or an A for me.
I mean, I think he's definitely an S tier correspondent.
Yeah, Yep, I agree with that.
Yes. Stephen Colbert, amazing. We talked about him earlier. Next is Stacey Grenwalk Woods.
Okay, sure.
Followed by Jeff Stilson.
Nope, no idea who that is.
He's from Spokane, Washington.
Definitely the lowest tier then.
He was a producer and writer for the Chris Rock Show.
He's very white for that.
He is.
Can he write the words that they use on that show? No.
At the time that it was appearing, yes. Let's see. We have Mo Roca, who
I know him best as like a judge on Chopped occasionally or Iron Chef.
I'm
comfortable giving him a C.
Yeah. If Jeff Ross is at a C, we can put
Mo Rocca. Yeah. He's a weird dude.
Yes. I remember him being funny, but I don't have like any specific things in my head. Next up is Vance DeGeneres.
Is he related to Ellen?
I wondered the same thing. I do not think so.
Then it's definitely a who.
Oh, he is the older brother of comedian Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah, still.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. It's almost worse that he's related to someone famous.
Yeah.
Because it makes him seem even less famous.
Sorry,
is that Angela Merkel?
No, but you may recognize her. That's Denny Siegel.
She was on Whose Line?
She is on Whose Line, but I do not remember a single.
She's lightly funny. She's funnier than Mo Rocca.
Okay, so put her on the same line as Mo Rocca.
Yeah.
If Jeff Ross is on there, because we know him from Comedy Central. Next up, we have Steve Carell.
Ooh, gosh.
He's at least A tier, if not S tier, as a Daily Show correspondent.
We're kind of predictable, but I'm going S tier. I mean, it's Steve Carell, man.
Yeah, Steve Carell.
This guy's a legend.
But I mean, he was the other half of Even Stevens, the debate between Stephen Colbert and Steve Carell. Dollars and Cents, Ad Nauseum, Slimming Down with Steve. Yeah, he had a pretty good
legendary
run. He also met his wife, who's next up here, Nancy Carell. I believe Nancy Wells back then. And
I'm going who, but if you know who she is, you can rank her.
I mean, she's in things. She was with
your choice.
Like she was in The Office. You've seen her before.
Oh, I have. Yeah, I know who she is. Okay, no, you're right. I get on board with D.
I would say D is bad in our ranking. Okay.
Fine, C. All right.
I mean, I could also move Jeff Ross down to D and Nancy Carell down to D.
Who's the next one? Is that the person from the Drew Carey show?
No, this is Miriam Tolan. No idea. She worked alongside Steve Carell's wife on some episodes. This is Matt Walsh.
First, because the picture's really small, I thought that was Joey Slotnick.
Matt Walsh was in Bad Santa. Role models, like you would recognize him as like he's an old UCB guy, and he's in Veep. His role as Mike McClintock in Veep received 2 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. He's a founding member of Upright Citizen Brigade. So you would recognize this. He's a guy with the mustache. I don't know why I covered my own mustache with a finger mustache. C. Yeah. That's fair. Following him, we have Lauren Weedman.
I have no idea who that is.
She was a guest star on New Girl and Two Broke Girls. Best known for a regular role on the HBO television series Looking from 2014.
Just put her in Who. I don't even care.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of Who, we have Mary Birdsong.
Interesting outfit. Still a Who.
She was in later seasons of Reno 911 as the aggressive officer lady.
Okay.
But I do not remember a single bit of The Daily Show she was in. I couldn't even find a picture of her on The Daily Show. After that, we have Rob Corddry, also known for Stephen Colbert's This Week in God. I think he took over after Stephen left. I talked about the Rob Corddry bit earlier. I think he's at least, I would say A tier, if not.
I can get on board with A.
See, what we've done here, the problem of putting Trevor Noah in A tier is that
that's okay.
We now have to base off of that.
Okay. Is that Ed Helms?
That is Ed Helms, who was pretty funny on The Daily Show.
I did not. His office character was really annoying. I could give him a solid A though.
Yeah, I think he was the same level as Rob Corddry, maybe even B, but nostalgia goggles. Let's put him in A tier for now. Rachel Harris is following him.
She's pretty funny.
You like her?
She's in like movies, right?
Yeah, she's in movies. She's in the series Lucifer.
But to be fair, I'd say B.
The new Goosebumps series. She was a Groundlings improv person, but yeah, she's been in a lot of things.
We're getting there. We're almost halfway there.
Yeah. Following Rachel Harris is Samantha Bee, who went on to host her own show, Full Frontal with Samantha Bee on TBS, and she's married to Jason Jones, who's later on in this list.
I'm gonna guess it's a C tier.
If Rachel Harris is a B, I would have to put her at B or higher.
Well, you know the show better than me, so I'm good with a B.
I mean...
Samantha B, it works out.
Yeah. I don't know. She went on to host her own show. I think she deserves A.
It's not Samantha A, but is she Trevor Noah good? Is she, you know what I mean? Or is she Craig Kilborn good?
I think she's better. I think she's better than Craig Kilborn.
Is Craig Kilborn a C?
I think he might be a C.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
If Trevor Noah is an A.
Yeah, I feel like you can't evenly space them apart.
Yeah.
Like Trevor Noah needs to be closer to Jon Stewart than he is to Craig Kilborn, you know?
Yeah. At least we didn't put him in Who.
Yeah. Because almost.
Speaking of Who, Bob Wiltfong.
That can't be his name.
That is his name.
Who?
And I was expecting, not to be racist, but I wasn't expecting a white guy. But he had appearances on the Chappelle Show and Late Night with Conan.
All right.
Bob, if you want to come on the show and defend yourself, please.
He's got nothing better to do, I'm sure.
Oh, God. We have Dan Backendall, he was hired to replace Stephen Colbert.
Put him Backendall, that Who's Who column or whatever.
He was there for 2 years. He's kind of a balding fellow. You would recognize him from other things. He has recurring roles on the Goldbergs. He was in Space Force. He's Congressman Roger Furlong on the HBO series Veep. Geez, people who write Wikipedia articles really like Veep. Yeah.
Who's a who for me?
Who
are you? Who?
I mean, is that more charitable than putting him in D?
Is he just bad?
I mean, he was hired to replace Colbert, which he did not do a good job of.
Okay, I can go D.
Okay.
It's all about the D category.
Sorry, Dan. Next up is Jason Jones, who I think is also one of the more classic of my era of watching The Daily Show. He is married to Samantha Bee. See it up. I know. I think I would put him B tier. B tier.
Okay. Oh, look, they're together.
Yeah, they're married and together on the list. Let's see what else we got. We got Nate Cordry, who is Rob Cordry's younger brother. They had an Even Steven style debate segment called Brother versus Brother. I honestly forgot he was on the show until I read that part.
Are we going B?
I definitely not. No.
Lower.
C or D or who?
C.
Being charitable.
D feels mean.
Why?
Put him in D.
Yeah, he was forgettable. He was forgettable. I'm sorry, Nate Cordry. You could also come on our show and defend yourself, or you don't even have to defend yourself. You could just come on and say hi. Next up, we have John Oliver. Best known as,
Last Week Tonight.
Yeah, the guy who stole my Five Nights at Freddy's idea for an episode. He was on from 2006 to 2013.
I feel comfortable putting him at an A.
At least an A. He was the senior British person. A, would you? Yeah. I mean, he's very popular. I would say borderline S tier. If Ed Helms is at A, which I feel like we could now move down to B if you were feeling not A.
No, I'm sorry. I think they're there.
Okay. Following John Oliver, we have Asif Manvi.
Is this the guy that's in movies?
He has been in movies. He was Mr. Aziz in Spider-Man 2. I think that was the pizza place owner.
What was his name again?
Asif Manvi. I don't know what you would recognize him from, but
I know him from a lot of stuff. He was in The Internship. He's funny.
Yes. Yeah, he's
I can
funny.
give him a B.
I would also go with B. If Jeff Ross is still C tier, I would put them in B tier. He did some good stuff. He was there from 2006 to 2015, and he was their senior Middle East correspondent.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it started as a contributor, but eventually made correspondent in 2007. Following Asif Manvi, we have Rob Riggle, who you probably best know from The Hangover or
Modern Family.
Oh, not the in the face.
No, I remember that, but he played Gil Thorpe, the arch nemesis of the main actor, Ty Burrell.
I would say it was still B. Yeah. Sorry, there are 55 of these, so
we're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there.
No.
Wyatt Cenac, 2008 to 2012.
He is a snack. That male pattern baldness is
Cenac. Yeah,
okay.
He grew out his hair after
I don't know who he is, so you can rank him if you want to.
I think he's B tier as well, if not A tier.
Let's not get carried away.
So the other thing about him is Jon there was some beef between him and Jon Stewart. Something about a writer's room and not feeling comfortable about how some things went down from a black person's perspective.
Boo. Oh, I can't tell from this picture. I can't tell from this picture. Did not know that. I think it was a white dude.
That's why I was trying to get that out before you booed it a second time.
Okay.
Anyway, speaking of someone you could boo, Josh Gad. best known as Olaf from the Frozen movies.
D.
Yeah, he did not have a memorable performance. C or D. Like, I remember him being kind of funny, but
Okay, C.
Yeah.
Who's the next one?
That's Olivia Munn.
I don't know who that is.
Well, she was there for a year. She was a senior Asian correspondent. Olivia Munn played Psylocke in the X-Men films. She's married to John Mulaney, or not married, but they had a baby together. She's an original co-host of, or not an original. She's one of the OG co-hosts. Yeah, she's an OG co-host of Attack of the Show. I like her. She's, but as a Daily Show correspondent, she was probably somewhere between the C and a B tier.
I feel like she's famous for doing C-level stuff, so therefore she's a C.
Fair. As a course, yeah, because they didn't really let her do much.
Right.
Next up is Al Madrigal. 2011 and 2016, he was their senior Latino correspondent and the California correspondent.
All right, sure.
I recall him being funny, but also I would put him at C tier.
Okay.
Yeah. Jessica Williams.
Just from that picture, I could tell that I would not think she was funny.
I don't think you would either. But some of the titles she had were senior youth correspondent, senior Beyonce correspondent, senior congressional correspondent, senior campaign correspondent, and senior political correspondent.
What, is she wearing a Catholic schoolgirl's outfit?
She's also wearing a suit.
She looks like she's wearing a Catholic schoolgirl's uniform.
I think that's her dreads.
No, I'm not saying the head stuff. I'm just saying like the skinny green tie with like a blazer and a collared shirt. She looks like she's at a Catholic school. I don't know. D. Or who?
I mean, she's at least a C.
Right.
Not a B. I think it's just the white shirt with the black blazer.
Or it looks like she's about to sing in an a cappella competition or something.
I see what you're saying, but also like the next four men have a blazer and
men
short tie. Yeah, that's fair. Next up is Gordon Klepler, from 2014 to 2017, and he's currently a contributor. He's the one that does he goes to the mega events.
I didn't recognize him as that. I go with a B.
I think A.
Okay, all right.
So, okay, if we're basing off a correspondent, B.
I'm not, because I didn't watch enough of this show.
Okay, but like with the stuff that he does now, he was the Colbert to Trevor Noah's Jon Stewart.
Okay, let's go A.
Okay, if not S tier, because he does some S tier. If Trevor was up on F's junior rank, he would be next to Trevor.
All right.
Michael Che.
B.
Okay.
B?
So
that's too much.
So as a correspondent, he was there from March 3rd, 2014 to June 4th, 2014 to September 18th, 2014. Because he left to co-anchor Weekend Update on SNL.
Probably C then.
Yeah. I would give him Olivia Munn.
You can't harsh on a guy for taking a cool job.
Right. But he didn't have time to prove himself on that job.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. Next up, we have Hassan Minhaj, their senior Indian correspondent.
That was Aziz Ansari, which makes me feel like a bad person.
He also left to host his own show, Patriot Act, with Hassan Minhaj on Netflix, which was...
I don't know him well enough. I could say A or B probably based on your description.
Yeah, I would put him at A. There was one of his best ones was he was talking about... now I don't know the validity of it because I don't know how much was exaggerated. But he was talking about how his mom called him and there's, I think it was after 9/11 and they were worried about going out because of how they looked, even though they're
was a thing.
Yeah. Yep.
That's still kind of a thing.
Even though they're Indian.
We'll put a boot in your ass.
Exactly.
It's the American way.
So, yeah, it was a good one. Roy Wood Jr., we have, who left last year, but he started with Trevor Noah in September of 2015.
I'll allow you to rank.
I'd say solid. Everyone seems to like him a lot. He's not like my favorite.
I think he's a B.
I'm going to put him at B, yeah, but I think everyone else would rank him at A.
Boy, the Bs look like Bs. These categories all look like the category they're in.
That's pretty funny. Desi Leidick.
No idea.
She is also new with Trevor Noah's team, which it's not new anymore. It's almost a decade old at this point. I like her a lot. She does Fox-Splained, which is pretty funny. B, A or B. Let's put her at B, I guess, because I have a feeling we're gonna put all of Trevor's team at B. This is Ronnie Chang. Wait, where did Jabuki Young White go? Oh,
I feel like he's the guy in an episode of House that like wanted to be choked.
Ronnie Chang.
Yeah.
He's their senior Asian correspondent.
It was bad for his health, but he liked being choked.
Yeah. You know what? I think Desi and Ronnie deserve to be on A tier.
Okay.
He's an Australian Chinese.
Whenever you say an Australian Chinese, like when you say an and use the singular, it makes you sound horrible. All right, moving on. We got to get through these.
Okay, Michael Costa.
No idea.
Also with them, but C tier for me, dog. Dulce Sloan. Also, she's fine, but she's
I know who she is. That's about it.
Yeah. Jabuki Young White, I think, deserves B tier, if not A tier. He was kind of the young Zoomer correspondent for a little while.
B. Zoomers don't need to be elevated too high.
And then these last two correspondents are new. This is, what is his name?
Who?
Troy Owada. Yeah. He's new so far. He's kind of, I don't know. I would predict he's going to be B tier, but we're going to put him in Who, along with newcomer Grace Cullen-Schmidt. I really don't like her so far, honestly.
Okay, that's fair.
And I think out of everything I've seen of Troy so far, we'll put him at C.
A little better, yeah.
Now we have Lewis Black. We're on to the contributors now. Lewis Black, S tier.
Yeah.
Sorry, Trevor.
I once had a dream that Lewis Black's jokes were so funny that he had to yell all of them.
Speaking of yelling all of them, we have Dave Attell.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, he was kind of funny on Comedy Central
back
in the day. But yeah, C or D?
C. He looks like he would vote for Donald Trump.
Next up, we have Dimitri Martin. He was really popular on Comedy Central. You don't like him?
I don't think I like him.
You don't like Dimitri Martin? He did all the graphs, and he had his own show.
I'll defer to you.
Well, I would put him at B.
All right.
But if you don't like him, we can put him in C.
He's got a bad haircut.
Yeah, that was kind of his shtick. It looks like a virgin. Speaking of looking like a virgin, we have John Hodgman, best known as the PC from the On the Mac and I'm a PC commercial with Justin Long.
I feel like that guy's low key funny.
Yeah, I think he had some good segments. Put him at B. Larry Wilmore.
Funny.
Yeah. A tier?
A tier. Loved him in Dinner for Schmucks.
He was the senior black correspondent for a long time. Kristen Shaw, best known for a lot of things, Bob's Burgers. She had some really good bits. I would put her at A or B.
She had some really good bits. Wow, it's
not how that was supposed to sound. But yeah, Kristen Shaw, I think B. She had some good stuff. Michelle Wolf, I know it was a Who for You. She came back and hosted during this last year. C or B. I'm going to put her at a C. So, yeah, that's our definitive ranking of the Daily Show correspondents, hosts, and some contributors. Wow.
I feel good about this. I feel like you can't always... The S tier has to be a bit exclusive. And the D tier is often quite small because we don't want to be that mean.
Right. Although some of the C... I would move maybe Jeff Ross down to the D tier. But there's not a lot that I can base.
But when I look at this, just whatever it is, something about like visually, it looks right.
I agree.
Like there's something about each level where you're like, yeah,
No, I completely get it. And you can see this on our YouTube episode.
That guy does look like Joey Slotnick, though.
The guy, the first D tier guy.
No, the one in the middle of C tier, next to Josh Gad.
Oh, Matt Walsh. Maybe he plays a character named Joey Slotnick.
I'm trying to find.
Matt Walsh is, if I remember correctly from what I just said, is a founding member of the Upright Citizens Brigade. But he also looks like the other white guy.
I think they just have a similar hair pattern.
Okay. I would assume he was on Whose Line at some point, but maybe not.
I don't know. Anyway.
I'm gonna stop sharing and play us out.
That does it.
Yeah. That does it for this week's edition of Namely 90s. Remember to find new episodes out every Monday. Find us on Instagram, Bluesky, and YouTube at Namely 90s with 90s and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Namely90s, also the 90s. And finally, you can contact us through our website, Namely90s.com. No, you can't. Finally, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Moment of Zen, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart, Good Pods, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon. That's Andrew, and we'll catch you next time.
Ooh, I'm slurring.